ahead.
All right, 700 High Street. 700 High Street was built by, we assume, the 12 Tree Builders. We're thinking that way because Fred Bugg, the builder, the owner, was one of the people that came over with the group in 1869. He was 3 years old at the time, and his parents came with 6 children. He was not the youngest. Luckenbug was the youngest. The house was built in a Queen Anne style and built in 1903. Fred Bugg married my great-grandmother, Elizabeth Zollicoffer Kyle, and when she was widowed and had a 3-year-old, my great-grandmother, she had a young child, 3 or 4 years old, named Carrie Kyle. They had their stepdaughter, Carrie Kyle, Robert Bugg, who in later life was headmaster, taught at St. Christopher's and headmaster at St. Christopher's School in Richmond till his retirement. And the house was left to their youngest daughter, Martha King Bugg, who married Henry Newble. Oh, and then she might not have been the youngest. Elizabeth Hughes was younger, and she lived in Texas. So these were all considered great aunts to my family, even though my grandmother was a stepchild. Henry Newble left the house to his son, Henry Newble, who around Farmville had always been called Scrub Newble. And that stayed in the family until the latest memory I have of it was when Bob and Martha got married. So that was a little over 50 years ago. And that's because Bob's friends handcuffed Henry Newble's grandson, Scrub's son, to the bushes, and his sister was so upset. So the house was sold to the son, later sold to the son of Norman Vincent Peale, who came to Farmville to visit there. And then Beverly Ann Klein and her husband built it, lived in it, and Sally and Willie Thompson. The Thompsons did major renovations and improvements to the house. So, Kay, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, and George and Betty Woofrey live there now.
Okay. Good. So that's what we know. My vivid memories there are old Mr. Newble used to keep a goat tied up in the backyard, in the back, to keep the weeds down. And if you were going to cut through to get to the Grove Street Park, you had to judge the goat's chain, because he would chase you, and you better take a wide swing. And also visiting with great aunts there when I was very young. So then we go on to the next house. Okay. Can we take out?
Yes.
Here we go, slideshow from the beginning. Okay. The Fred Bugg House, 700. Okay. With each house, to keep me on track and try to keep it straight, we tried to just put a data sheet here at first. So the estimated build date on this house, we think, was 1903. If anybody has any better information than we present tonight, please tell us so we can update the program. We think Mr. 12 Trees that we were talking about earlier, we think he built this house, but we don't have any written proof. The known owners were Mr. and Mrs. Fred Bugg. Their daughter, that daughter, right, Caroline? daughter was Mrs. Henry Newell Jr. or Martha King Bug. And then I guess she died first, and it fell to her son then.
Yeah, he probably was Henry Newell Senior and Martha King Newell, and then Henry Newell Jr.
Okay. And then Thomas H. Eli, who was associated with Hampton College. Longwood, you're saying?
Martha, did Ely teach Longwood?
Longwood, okay. We'll have to straighten that out.
And they pronounced it Ely.
Ely. Okay. Okay. And then from him we have traced it to John S. Peel, who lived approximately 1977 to 1990. Caroline, do you want to tell us who he was his father?
Norman Benson Field was his father.
Norman Benson Field.
And he taught Longwood, and his wife taught at the high school.
Okay.
He just passed away this spring.
Yes,
Yes.
sure.
Okay. As far as we know, the next owners were John Klein and Beverly Ann Patterson Klein. Does that sound right?
David Klein.
David Klein.
David Klein, not
His
John.
name might be John Davis.
And should be Patteson. Patterson.
No,
No R.
Okay.
Buckingham.
Okay, Buckingham then. We got it. All right, and then from them, we think it passed down to Willie Thompson and his wife Sally Thompson. Anybody want to tell us what Willie did and what Sally did?
They did major renovations.
I mean, for the,
Oh, I don't know about that.
He was a minister at Hampton Sydney, and she taught kindergarten, and she was also on town council board.
yeah.
okay, that's right.
He was a minister at the church.
Yes. And then current owners are George and Betty Wolfrey.
It's
right?
it's Gregory
Gregory,
and
okay.
Betty Gale.
Betty Gale, okay.
Kane.
Okay. Gregory and Betty Gale.
Betty Gale's a Longwood graduate, right? I'm an alumni.
Okay. I'm saying all this because I'm recording. All this is getting recorded tonight, and then I can use it to update the make corrections. Okay, I guess next I'm going to let Kay and Caroline talk about it, and then we'll let Betty Gale talk about it. How about that? Okay, let's here, pre-recorded last week sometime, Caroline and Kay should pop up next here.
Yeah.
700 High Street. 700 High Street was built by, we assume, the 12 tree builders. We think it that way because Fred Bug, the builder, the owner, was one of the people that came over with the group in 1869. He was 3 years old at the time, and his
like to tell us your history with the home?
Yes, we bought it from Sally and Willie. And, we bought it from Sally and Willie, and we came and looked at it on a Friday night and had a contract by 9 o'clock that night for a full price offer. I just fell in love with the house, and we have really done a lot of work to this house. We gutted the entire kitchen, and we have added a master suite downstairs in the back. There was an old bedroom there and a bathroom. We pretty much gutted that and added a wing so that we have a master suite downstairs. And we painted the entire thing inside and out and just done a lot of things to it that make us love it even more. and I went to Longwood, and so I knew a little bit about Farmville from that. And we just truly love Farmville and this house. And the model there, Richard McClintock did that, and we think it's wonderful. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's right there on the table.
I would put a picture in the slide here, but
Yes.
I didn't see it until tonight.
Well, we've been there, we'll be there 5 years in January.
Thank you.
And you'll be on the Christmas tour? Yes, we're going to be on the house tour, so if you want to see the house, come through.
If you have any more questions, you got my phone number.
Okay, yes, I do.
We might learn a little more on it before the night's over.
Well, I've learned a lot.
Okay. And I will get this up on YouTube as quick as possible, and then if people come for the Christmas tour, you can tell them it's on YouTube. Okay? All right, moving along with this picture. I don't know where the picture came from. You, Caroline?
They've been sent to me from a lot of different people.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
A lot of different people donated pictures, so we're going to flip through it here. There's a nice one. That's pretty there.
That's pretty current there. That's really current. That's probably with us living.
Yeah. You can see that at one time there was a big tree out front that's been removed. This
They
one.
knew when that tree went down. I don't remember, but she did know when that tree went down.
Okay, we know it was there in '85 because that's one of the pictures that the Historical Society took in '85.
We'll find out.
Yeah, because that's when the Beatles were.
In researching for this, I did a lot of going through the old Farmville Hurls, which are now online. And I found an article right here about Fred Bug and when he died. And so there is his obituary, and it'll be online on YouTube if anybody wants to take time to read it. But there are his 3 children. Is that correct, Amy? As far as y'all know. As far as, I think the obituary puts it right out here who the kids were. And we even know, I guess, who the pallbearers are on most of these obituaries. But moving along, there's a picture of where Fred and his father Charles had the store here together. And then looking down Main Street, this would be the Cumberland Bridge down here. So this is 3rd Street across here. And this would be pre-1910 because the street is still not paved. And this bank right across the street, we're going to get back to this bank in a few minutes when we move up the street to another house. This is the bank that James Lucky Bug worked at, and he became the president. And the bank was named the People's National Bank. Moving on, these are pictures taken in front of Bug's store. This was the original photograph that I picked up somewhere, and you couldn't quite see the people, so I highlighted them, but it's still not that so good. But might have been from your pictures, Ann. I'm not sure. fire at the garage behind 700. There was a garage somewhere on that property. Fred Bug, who back then he was working with his father, working at the store. He took over from his father. He had a 22 Ford truck, and he went to go to work, and the truck backfired, and it caught his garage on fire. Of course, back then, we didn't have fire trucks, but we had horse-drawn pumpers, and before the fire trucks could get there, the neighbors had put the fire out. But in less than 2 weeks after this, Fred had a heart attack and died at the home on 700 High Street. I guess the fire set him back. Here's a picture taken from the alumni house lawn, looking up High Street, and this would be 700 High Street right here. Over here on this side, that would be, help me out, mainly play.
Butler.
Butler House,
Pam Butler,
Watkins
and then the other two houses right down here. So this is a good old picture of High Street, and notice how many houses had fences in it. In one of the articles that I read in the Farmville Herald, Mr. Wall, the editor, had written to the people on High Street to take down those cow fences. That's what he called them. People at the time evidently had fences up because the livestock roamed free, and they didn't want cows and whatever livestock was running around. So it was to keep the animals out, and you might say to keep the kids in. But that's a good old picture. We were lucky to get that picture. That's Willie in front of the house, and Willie was a member here for many, many years, probably going back almost to the beginning. That's a picture of him giving a program here, probably right over here by the windows to my right. There's a few more pictures of him. They moved away. Where did they go? You know?
Somewhere in North Carolina.
They went to Chapel Hill,